Welcome to a new episode of the How'd You Meet podcast. My name is Chris Molina, and I am your host for today's episode. Today's guest is Dustin Tyte. His wife's name is Kelsey. They've been married for 3.5 years. They've been living together for 4 years. They have one kid, one cat. They reside in South Bend, Indiana. And a fun and unique fact about them is that they're newly parents to a wild and very adorable 6.5-month-old. Dad loves sports. Mom loves Bachelor and Bachelorette series. Dustin, which I didn't know, and Dustin and I know each other personally. He is a former world wiffle ball champion, and that definitely was used to swoon Kelsey when they first started dating, because Kelsey has a thing for outstanding athletes, as I can see. And so, Dustin, thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
Appreciate it, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So I want to start off with the first question. How'd you guys meet?
So, funny story, we met unintentionally at a mutual friend's Christmas party. And at the time, my wife was dating another guy and I was single. And, and so it didn't show much interest at the time because obviously she was dating.
Yeah.
Quickly after that, around Valentine's Day, our mutual friend had reached out to me and said that there's this great girl that you should meet. And, she's going through a breakup right now and really looking for a good guy to reach out to her in these tough times, Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
All right, well, here's my chance. So we met through a mutual friend, started texting her and started talking. And then lo and behold, we started hanging out and went from there.
That's awesome, man. I love hearing that whenever things work out shortly after you get to know them or know of them. And you didn't even think it was going to be a thing,
Yeah, no, you gotta put it in the hands sometimes of your mutual friends that know you each boast the best and can set you up for success.
Absolutely. Moving on to the next question, and this is one of my favorite ones to ask. What's one thing that Kelsey does that makes you smile and makes you feel warm inside a little bit?
I just think it's just how caring and loving she is. I think she likes to do little surprise gifts for me. She hears what I say and what I like. And so she'll do her best to surprise me with a little trinket or a little gift, something when I get home from a long day of work, just to make me happy. And those little gestures go a long way in our relationship. So it helps keep the enjoyment and the spark there. And so I love when she does that kind of stuff for me.
Yeah. So she's very thoughtful.
I would say so. She wears her emotions on her sleeve. She's very loving, very caring. She's very optimistic. So she always looks in the positives and everyday struggles. And so that really helps me get through tough times.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Can you tell us about your proposal story? I don't think I know it personally.
Yeah, that's a great question. So my proposal story is I have now 4 nieces, but at the time I had 2 nieces. Okay. I've had 2 more since then. And I had my 2 nieces wear a shirt that says, "Will you marry?" on one, and the other one says Uncle Didi, because they call me Uncle Didi.
Yeah.
Hold on. And so then I had my wife. I had her plan. She was going to come home from work, and I had parked off the street, so she didn't know I was home. And so I actually hid behind the tree. And when my wife came in to the house, I wasn't home yet. I was around the corner. My mom came in to the drive, and my sister drove with my nieces. They got out of the car, knocked on the door, and my wife opened the door, and it had their shirts were saying "We Uncle Didi." My wife's like, I have no idea what this means. I popped out behind the tree. Walked up towards her and kneeled and proposed to her, and it was right in our front yard. Actually, the funny thing is under our front yard, in our front yard, is a big tree that the previous couple that lived here planted, and they got engaged under that tree as well.
Oh wow, that is a lucky tree.
Yeah, so that's how it went, and it was a joyous moment.
Yeah, so she had no clue. Do you think she had an inkling?
She had no clue it was going to happen on the day I did it. She thought I was going to do it on July 4th. I delayed it a little bit because I didn't want it to be that predictable.
Sure.
She knew we were going to get engaged pretty soon, because we had just moved it and bought a house together, and so I needed to show my commitment.
Sure.
But I didn't want to make it too obvious as to when I was doing it or how I was going to do it. So she was still surprised.
That's awesome. That's a beautiful story, man.
Appreciate it.
So you already talked about her being extremely thoughtful and kind. what's a different thing other than that you admire about Kelsey?
You know, and I would say this has changed in the last 6 months. It's just how much she's become a strong and loving mother
Mm-hmm.
to our child. Seeing her go from, you know, working hard on her career to having to change her mindset to having to make sure to keep the baby alive and how to care for it and tend to it and also keep her happiness. Her maturity level has grown tenfold, and you know sometimes she has to take care of two babies when I'm not doing well too. So I admire that about her, and you know, very very appreciative of how we've grown as young parents ourselves.
Sundays are probably rough for her. If you're having a rough time on fantasy football, then there's a big baby in the house.
Yeah. So luckily, with the last 2 years, I've been doing well, so she hasn't had to deal with that as bad. But yeah, the previous however many years, not pretty.
Last question for me. When you want to make her feel like you love her, when you want to do something special for her so that she knows that you care about her, what's that thing that you do?
Gosh, I think a couple of things, but probably the first thing is just take some stuff off her plate. Do some things for her that she normally that she does around the house. You know, I usually like to do the laundry, and that's something that I don't know most husbands probably don't do, but I enjoy doing it. I always do the dishes. I just you know, wash her bed sheets, just things that I know that she's going to come home and want to do, but I'll just have it done for her or think ahead. You know, and I like to buy her and spoil her things. Go get her nails done, go get a massage, things like that, just because I know she likes to have some stress relief. And so, you know, I don't want to have to buy love. So I like to show it in both ways.
Absolutely. And I'm just curious on this last question, when you talk about the household chores that you might pick up for her, what's that one that you hate that you're like, man, I love the hell out of you because I'm doing this and I can't stand doing it?
Oh, I hate dusting. I hate cleaning bathrooms. Like just to have to move every little trinket around the house to have to dust because she's very particular. I'm like, yeah, I'd rather sweep the floors or pick up stuff or whatever. But even when it's her and I, when we're going to have a cleaning day, I'm like, can I just avoid doing the dusting part, please?
That's funny. So Dustin hates the dusting.
That is the joke of the year right there, right?
I mean, I'm a new dad. You're a new dad. We got to step up our dad jokes, you know?
Somewhere. I got a long ways to go with that, but it's going to come naturally over time.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the inspirational stories and sharing your relationship with us. I really appreciated it.
Anytime, man. I miss you. I hope we get to see you soon.
Yeah, man.